Let me begin with Afghanistan, if I may. I am deeply concerned that, at least thus far, our policy in Afghanistan has kind of been on automatic. And I made a promise to myself a long time ago that I would not see all of our conflicts, ground operations, in the context of Vietnam. I really try hard. I have an automatic check that says, you know, not everything is that. But I have to tell you, in the several visits I have now made, escape it as I might, the parallels just really keep leaping out in so many different ways. We are struggling to fight with and for a people of a different culture, different language, different custom, different history, different religion, if any. And all of those similarities exist. We don't live there. We don't live in the community, in a hamlet, in a small town, pocket, whatever you want to call it. And so we're not there often at night. They are. And the night often rules with insurgencies. The complications are profound in both Pakistan and Afghanistan. And I went to both and to India immediately after Mumbai, and was really struck by the extraordinary distance we have to travel in both places, Senator. That is the center of the war I got to check myself. I hope this administration and all of us will begin to think differently in this terminology of war on terror and think in terms of the global counterinsurgency and the difference between counterinsurgency and counterterrorism and the challenges that we face in addressing both and understanding them both. One person made a very interesting comment to me while I was over there and said, you know, Pakistan is a government without a country, and Afghanistan is a country without a government. And if you stop and think about sort of the real application, and no insult meant to anybody. President Karzai is a friend. We've all met with him. We want his success, but there are inherent contradictions in the structure that we have been trying to impose in Afghanistan. And more as I travel that part of the world, I served most recently as chair of the subcommittee on Mideast South Asia, so I was frequently there. It kept leaping out at me in ways that over a number of years here I really frankly hadn't given enough consideration to. But recently reading a wonderful book which I commend to you by Rory Stewart, you know, The Places in Between, and another book, The Forever War, and there are a whole host of them that really give you the flavor of this. If you really want it, I mean, Gertrude Bell, The Desert Queen, is a fascinating study of sort of the region and of tribalism. And that's really what I want to point to. We have not, I think, we honored tribalism when we dealt with the Northern Alliance and initially went into Afghanistan. We really haven't adequately since. And it strikes me that if we just put troops, plunk them down, another 20, 30,000 in Afghanistan, without a very limited view of what they can achieve and need to do, and a comprehensive view of other things we need to do to build the successful structures of governance, the police, the judiciary, which may be a pipe dream, the construction programs, the ability of Hamid Karzai's government, as well-intentioned as he may be, and as much as we like him, the ability to even get out of Kabul and be able to do anything in the countryside. I think, Madam Secretary-Designate, we're on the wrong track. And I think unless we rethink this very, very carefully, we could raise the stakes, invest America's reputation in a greater way, as well as our treasure, and wind up pursuing a policy that is frankly unpursuable, unachievable. So I'd like to elicit your thoughts on this. I was in Peshawar a few weeks ago I learned that, and some in Pakistan would disagree with this, and I'll probably hear from some of my friends there, but many people believe that it would not be hard for the Taliban to move in there if that's the decision they decided to make. It was so dangerous that we were not able to move into downtown and other areas. And we just saw last week 600 Taliban crossed the border from Afghanistan and came in and directly attacked a Frontier Corps military outpost. I think anybody who has really traveled on the ground, listened in the right ways, and not just accepted the sort of briefing culture, will suggest to you respectfully, Madam Secretary, this really has to be rethought very, very carefully. Our original goal was to go in there and take on al-Qaeda. It was to capture or kill Osama bin Laden. It was not to adopt the 51st state of the United States. It was not to try to impose a form of government, no matter how much we believe in it and support it. But that is the mission, at least as it is being defined today. So I'd like to ask for your thoughts on this as you engage in what will obviously be a very hasty and important critical review and some judgments that we need to make about our policy.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think that your cautions are extremely well taken. There is, as you know, a review going on right now under the direction of General Petraeus through CENTCOM. As I understand it, he has approximately 300 people, some of them detailees from the State Department, who are crisscrossing Afghanistan, trying to determine, as I understand it, what is and isn't feasible. We are in close communication with General Petraeus. We intend to, when it's appropriate, on January 20th, to begin our own immediate review. Because I share your concern, as I know the President-elect does. You know, his approach toward Afghanistan, which has been more for more, you know, more troops would go in, but there would have to be more from NATO and there'd have to be more from Afghanistan, you know, presupposes that we have a set of discrete goals that we are trying to achieve. And that is in the process of being assessed and analyzed right now. As you're aware, President Bush had inside the White House General Lute, who was largely responsible for coordinating policy with respect to both Iraq and Afghanistan. So the Bush administration has put a lot of assets to work on trying to determine what is the best way forward with Afghanistan and how do we affect the future of Pakistan, the decisions that they make. But I think that asking the hard questions and raising the red flags is exactly what this committee, I know, will do and should do. Sitting here today, when I think about my trips to Afghanistan, my flying over that terrain, my awareness of the history going back to Alexander the Great and certainly the Imperial British military and Rudyard Kipling's memorable poems about Afghanistan, the Soviet Union, which put in more troops than we're thinking about putting in. I mean, it calls for a large dose of humility about what it is we are trying to accomplish. Having said that, I think that we will keep you informed as we move forward. And on the civilian side, I hope that we will have the opportunity for more in-depth conversations. I mean, I've been on both sides now of the table here, and there is so much to discuss, and there is so much expertise on this committee. People who have traveled deep, traveled widely, thought deeply, know a lot of the players, and I hope that you know, if I'm confirmed, that I'll be able to have you and others literally sitting down and talking with the people that we're going to be tasking to come up with the civilian side of this strategy, so that we go in with our eyes open, whatever it is we're trying to achieve.